Charles, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Your video is off, unless you want it off.
He's having a bad hair day.
Yeah. Or like no hair day.
That's what I was going to say. My hair is no hair day.
All right. I don't know, Kristen or Kathy, do we have a quorum?
I believe we do.
And who's missing? 8, there's one.
Commissioner
Oh.
Wilkins is missing.
Okay. Susie, can you hear me?
Yes, Bob, I can hear you.
Okay.
I don't see Commissioner Harvey Wright as well.
Well, it's 3:31. Why don't we start, and when they get in, we'll just mark them present. All right, we'll call the Ways and Means Committee to order for the December 15th, 2020 meeting. I don't know, Kathy, are you doing it or is Kristen doing it?
Doing it.
Okay, when you say here, just say where you're what municipality you're calling from.
Correct. Commissioner Foster,
Here and the east side of Muskegon County.
Commissioner Harvey Wright, Chairman Hughes,
Here, Muskegon County.
Commissioner Laring,
Here, Ravenna Township.
Commissioner Mahoney,
In the big city of Mahonegu, I am here.
Commissioner Nash,
Here, and I'm in the city of Muskegon.
Commissioner Snyder,
You gotta unmute, John.
I know you're here, so
He may need help unmuting.
Commissioner Wilkins, and Chairman Skolnick.
Here, City of Norton Shores. Okay, the next item is the approval of the minutes of December 1st, 2020.
So moved.
Support.
All right, are there any comments on that, corrections? Anything? If not, we'll vote on that. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Harvey Wright on,
No.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes,
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
John, you gotta unmute. He said yes, I saw him, but
thank you. Commissioner Wilkins, Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
yes. Okay, so the minutes of December 1st are approved. The next item on the agenda, we have a presentation, a proposal by F3 Airport of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Are we going to be able to see that, like where the agenda is?
Yep. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you.
And it looks like we got Skip with us.
Hello, I'm Skip Goss from F3. And I think John Matheson is on bringing up share screen here.
Yes, good afternoon, John Matheson here. My video, there I am. So thank you for inviting us to be here today. We'll be kind of quick if I can kind of run through this proposal. So this is actually not my, I don't think I have access to the screen right now. So I'm going to try to put mine up here, see if this works.
Kristen, did you give him access?
I did.
Is it-
Okay.
Looks like it.
All right, so I didn't want to run through this entire proposal. There's a lot of information here. What I did want to do is just get a few points across and then allow the rest of the commissioners to ask questions as needed, and Skip and I will do our best to answer them. That works out okay. Starting off, just before we get to this point on this proposal on your screen, I just want to mention that what our view is of what is needed at this airport is, first of all, long-term financial success. And what I mean by that is a lot of airports struggle to maintain profitability or even to break even. We do understand that with this airport that the goal is to have it be as financially self-sustaining as possible. We know that takes time to get there, and we know how to get there, what we have to do. We know that's one of the main goals, but it's going to take some time to do that. Number two is compliance. Compliance not only with 139 regulations, but compliance with our company's standards as well as industry airport standards. And number three is we realize that this airport is part of and one of many amenities that the county has to offer. And we want to make sure that we integrate well into the community, which really leads to good marketing and branding and community relations with all of the community leaders and nonprofits and businesses on establishing a good relationship with them to maximize use of this airport. So that's our strategy. There are some details on how we plan to execute that strategy. Before we get there, I wanted to talk about just briefly our strengths as a company. So I've got that on the screen right now. F3 Airport is actually a division of Founders 3, which is owned by myself and a gentleman named David Banky. Our strengths that we are bringing to the table here are outlined here. First of all, our expertise in managing not just the airport, but other forms of real estate. And we're one of the only companies in the country, we might be the only one in the country that can manage airports and marinas and other conventional real estate very, very well. And the reason that's important is that part of the financial success for the airport is the ability to maximize use of your real estate. So there's the airport operations, the Part 139, maximizing that, but then you have land there that can be better utilized. And that's something we're very good at doing. We've been doing since 1995 for many, many clients. We manage right now about 170 properties, which includes office, industrial, retail, residential, high-rise condominiums, apartments, that sort of thing. We've been doing that for a very long time. Next is emphasizing the financial performance through creative efforts. I just mentioned that. We look at things.
John,
you got muted.
Okay, can you hear me again?
yes.
Okay. So I just talked about the maximizing the financial performance. I described that just a minute ago. Number three is important, and that is our strong ability to market and grow airport through building the brand. And that's something we've demonstrated many, many times through all the different assets that we manage, including Muskegon, the national airport there that we've rebranded that airport. And that marketing is a strong strength in our corporate structure. Focusing on process to ensure compliance. And that's another important one. Something that I mentioned to Bob Lukens early on, that right now you're trying to hire an individual that has that 139 compliance. So you're dependent really on that one individual to make sure it all happens. What we're proposing is that if we set up a corporate structure that makes sure that compliance is maintained, then we have redundancy. Skip Goss is our regional director who's going to be overseeing that, as well as the airport manager. And we're going to have we have some software programs that make sure that we follow compliance regulations, and then we do personal inspections and other administrative ways to make sure that it happens. Strong relationship with the FAA. Skip can talk to you in a minute about that, his relationship with the district office there. Customized approach to meet the needs of the client. We don't come in with one model that says we're going to try to fit into your situation. We're of the right size. We've been around a long time. We know how to get business done, but we're small enough that we can adjust to whatever your specific needs are. Another point we added on here is the proximity of our office to Muskegon. We can be over there in about a half an hour, leaving from the airport here. We leave from Waukegan on a private plane, and we can be there in sometimes within an hour's notice. So, and I'm an owner, and I would stay involved in the major matters. Skip can handle really most everything else. But the point is that you have attention from the top on down with the company, and we can be there quickly. Another part is that we are willing to put a portion of our fee at risk based on us being successful. We'll outline that a little bit later. And then finally, our strategy to manage the airport is an integral part of the region. I mentioned that earlier, that we understand how a government entity views not just airports, but everything else, the Parks Department and other amenities. It's all part of the whole plan that you have for the whole region, not just the county, but the whole region, that you can provide this as an amenity, and we promote it as such. So those are the things that we feel set us apart as a company as far as our strengths. The other part I wanted to go to briefly here is on page 29, just to learn the key players. So this kind of gives you an idea of an organizational chart. I'm president and one of the owners of the company. And then Skip is over here running the division. We have Phil Cook, who actually is below Skip.
Okay.
And then we have our airport managers, and then our the staff under them. So we have our marketing staff led by Danny, and then our IT people and our accountants. And so that's basically the org chart. Here's another way of showing this. Skip really should be on top there. He oversees the division. It's just laid out a little differently. But this basically shows you how the reporting relationship would be. So that manager, who would be a key part under Skip's direction, active direction, would be running the airport. And then just to run through you the way we work, I think that maybe you know this, but I'll probably deserves repeating, and that is the way we handle an airport or any entity when we take it over is the employees would be hired by us. So you don't have to worry about any of the employees and the day-to-day issues that go with them. We handle that all internally. We have a corporate staff that has marketing people as well as the financial and accounting people. So myself and Skip are the key players here that will be running that. Then the final part that I want to mention, and then we can leave it for questions, is the transition, which is on page 56 here. Bear with me. We view the transition as a very, very integral part of us being successful, and we have a very organized transition plan. So we proposed 60 to 90 days to get it done, and we have it outlined here. And I won't run through all these, but the point I want to make is that we've done this many times, transitioning properties. And we start early on, making sure we get the accounting function set up properly, the reporting system, all the accounts and contracts, leases, which are very important, staffing, and there's an order to it all. And so we lead you along the way to help us get there so that by the time that 90 days is up, we're ready to get that thing running right off the bat. So that's my my speech part of this, and Skip and I would be glad to answer any questions that you may have at this point.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Oh, yes, go ahead. I was.
No
sorry.
problem. I think it's John, right?
That's correct.
John, have you ever, in your company, ever left a contract or been asked to leave a contract with a marina or an airport in the past?
We have never lost a marina or airport contract since we've been in business. We've been in business since 1995, though running conventional properties, so we have transitioned some of those away. But so far, we've been very fortunate in the marina side and airport side that we've never lost a contract.
Great.
And 5 of them this year.
I also noticed you have a giant 2-year I think it would be yourself 35 miles away, Chicago Airport, as we have Grand Rapids 35 miles away. So you're used to having that. So you're willing and already looked at all that effect on the airport?
Yes, Skip, do you want to answer that
In
one?
terms of competition,
Correct.
in terms of competition with Grand Rapids,
Correct.
yes, that's a formidable competitor there. So, obviously we are competing with them for passengers. So, that's part of the strategy, is to get the awareness out there and to capture as many passengers you can at Muskegon Airport, as opposed to them driving. I think you only got 9% at Muskegon of the whole catchment area. Most of them go to Grand Rapids, and then 9% go to Chicago, O'Hare, and Midway, and then the others to Detroit. So, we have reason to believe that we could capture quite a few more passengers.
Okay, great. And my last question, if I may, is kind of a personal one. I see Waukegan has quite an air show. Is that anywhere in your thoughts for Muskegon in the future?
Yes, in fact, I went to Western Michigan University back in the 80s, and you guys used to have a fabulous air show there, and it's a shame that went away. The air show we have here is it's put on by volunteers. It's all volunteer. It's all donations. It's a non-for-profit organization we started called the Northern Illinois Air Show Inc. So it's been very successful. We draw 20,000 spectators a year. So we hope to get something like that started up again in Muskegon. Get some aviation enthusiasts to get this thing started off again and really have it grow, because it's awareness.
Perfect. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, Marcia?
Yes, thank you. I noticed that you have quite a different staffing pattern than currently. We have 6 maintenance mechanic people and 3 administration, and yours is heavily balanced towards administration and I think only 2 maintenance people. Could you explain how that works?
Yes, essentially, it's multitasking. Everyone from the director, deputy director on down, they're all able to move snow, mow grass. Everybody should be multitasking and able to do any one of the tasks. So that's one of the first things we're going to do, is evaluate the tasks, what needs to be done, evaluate staffing. On the administrative level, there is quite a bit of administration to do.
Yeah.
I see you only have 1 administrative person there. I think they definitely need some support there, and even get an intern in there.
There
But
are 3 actually: manager, assistant manager, and ops.
right, and those are all technical people who can fulfill any one of the roles. And I know one of your biggest challenges there is snow removal. So, everybody should be able to jump in the machines and work it. So, in terms of management versus hourly, pretty much everybody's hourly except the director.
And keep in mind, if I could also add to that, we do everything. We do all the billing, the collections, the receivables, the monthly reports, all the financials. So I don't know how much of that is being done within your county offices, not at the airport, but we can, the way we propose this is that we would do all of that work inside our company, and you would basically get a financial report every month. And so it would free up some of the county staff.
Bob, I have a comment. Bob?
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at something.
Pay attention, Bob.
I'm
Somebody get Bob a coffee.
no, I'm sorry. I was looking.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I have a comment I wanted to ask John or Skip, either one. Right now, we are in desperate need of getting some things straightened out to okay us with the FFA and get all of our records back in order the way we're supposed to. Is that something that will be high on your priority to get us back in line?
Absolutely, that's a top priority. I mean, if you don't comply with the very strict regulations with the FAA, you could lose your airport operating certificate, and therefore the airline cannot come in there. So that's one, first and foremost, needs to get straightened out right away.
Perfect. That's what I wanted
Get
to
all
hear.
that in order and documented and regimented, and get a system going.
And I have another question. We have a full board meeting on Thursday. Is it possible for you to get a quote on this back to our administrator by then
A quote on,
for the proposal?
Yeah, this has a cost
Oh,
proposal.
it has a
We have quote in-
cost proposal with it. I was listening to you and not reading it. So, all right,
that's
thank you
okay.
very much.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I have
Yeah.
a question if I may.
yeah,
So I'm not sure who would answer this, John, maybe you, but we have actually a couple of proposals on the table. One, hiring our own manager. Secondly, as an employee, or hiring a firm, or potentially selling the airport. How would your firm interact or be agreeable to potentially the sale of this airport? And how would that affect the contract or the future going forward?
Commissioner, you broke up a little bit in your question, but if I understood you correctly, you were asking how we would feel about the potential of the sale of the airport. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I think that selling an airport, airports can be tricky from a financial and investor point of view. Most airports are not considered good investments in the real estate community just because they don't offer that return and they're risky investments. I think that it would be a tough sell. As far as our ability, we manage property for clients. That's 99% of what we do. We don't own a lot in the way of real estate. We own very, very little. So we're used to doing that. We will take property and kind of position it for sale if that's what the goal is of the client. We would not likely be interested in purchasing the airport. It's not our, it's not our expertise is to be buying those airports and developing them. We're more interested in the management and turning around the operations.
My question was, would you be comfortable entering into an agreement with us if the airport was for sale?
We would do that. We would want to talk about what your timing is. And as I mentioned before, we do that with other clients when they have a long-term plan of, say, we're going to hold this for 2 to 3 years and then sell it. We will help them get there by positioning that asset for sale and then actually marketing the asset and selling it for them.
Thank you.
John, if I could just say, have you ever heard of another municipal airport of this size or larger being sold?
I have not.
No.
Ever.
I
In
mean,
fact, there's very few private airports that are of that size even in existence. One of them I know of is Battenfield in Racine. That's not quite to your size, but that's a privately owned airport. But I know they're struggling pretty bad. And part of the reason for that is as a private airport, you're not open to quite the amount of public grants that a publicly owned airport would be.
Yeah.
So you're at a disadvantage, and you're at a tax disadvantage as well.
okay, if there's time at
Bob,
the
I had a question.
well, let me just say this, there's time at the end of the agenda under old business where we're going to discuss the airport again. But I'm sorry, was that you, Charles? I didn't see.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, but we'll talk about it again at the end.
I had a question, and I'm wondering how many airports is it that you manage? What has been your success rate with the ones that you have taken in, and what do you base that success rate on?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that question. It's a good question. So real briefly, we have been around since 1995 as a conventional real estate manager. We work with clients on their development and on their management of commercial real estate. So about 8 years ago, I formed a marina division specifically to manage marinas for public entities. And we started with Racine County in Wisconsin because they had a need for doing so. And then we've grown that all over the United States and into South America and now Europe. So we're one of the big players in marina management, and not all of them, but most of them are for cities, counties, and port districts. And so we did not get into the airport so I'll address airport in just a minute. But what made us successful is that we understand that a public entity such as a county looks at their assets differently than a private entity would. And so we've understood that, and we've been able to address that and meet their needs. And that's how we became so successful. And we've grown to the point we are right now. We take that same model and we're using it for airports. And that's what we're trying to do, is grow that division with the same thing. So our experience with airports really has been with Waukegan National Airport, which we've had for 5 years. Prior to that, we did work for General Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee. We managed their baggage handling systems and advised them through their construction and remodel process. So we didn't do the full management of that airport. We just managed some important assets while they're going through a complete remodel and renovation. So that's our experience with airports, has been Waukegan National Airport. And Skip, you could maybe add to that about our success there.
Sure. So I've been at Waukegan as the director here for almost 5 years now. When F3 took over, it was run quite inefficiently. There were a number of large projects that just fell into morass. They just never went anywhere. There was just really lack of leadership, lack of goals, lack of direction. And, it was a gem in the rough, if you will, here in Lake County, Illinois. The airport wasn't even known to most of the residents of the county, where this airport is a huge economic driver and a strategic amenity if the county offers here. So, it was a campaign right away to get this 9-figure program to rehabilitate the entire runway here, and to get awareness out there that, this is an economic driver. We are competing with other airports here, and we're competing with businesses leaving the county and going elsewhere. So, we've done quite a bit here to grow the airport. We've really got this runway program moving along, so there's renewed confidence. We've recently had $35 million of private investment in the airport here, with companies coming here and basing their aircraft here and their flight departments here. And as time moves on, we hope to attract more from our competing airports here. So, we hope to do the same with Muskegon, is our goal.
Okay, all right, last question, Marcia.
Yeah, how would you market the Muskegon Airport to get more ridership, or whatever the term is?
I don't believe there's awareness, really, to get the awareness out there, to let people know that this is right here available. I get the sense that riders aren't even aware that the airport is there and available for frequent flights to O'Hare, which you can go anywhere in the world from there. So I think it begins with awareness. We really have to give a long, hard thought about branding and marketing. You have a terminal radar approach control there, which used to be called Muskegon Approach Control. Now they're called Great Lakes Approach. So, maybe something as dramatic as changing the name of the airport. But, it's really, branding yourself and letting yourself be known to everyone that you're there. You're the airport in the backyard. They don't have to drive far. You're right here. And honestly, I don't believe the awareness is out there.
I can tell you, I used to be a flyer till COVID hit, but and I always checked with the Muskegon flights. And the problem, people know, people that fly in any frequency know that there's an airport here. But the problem is there's usually only 2 flights. Mm-hmm. So if there's problem with one, you either wait 12 hours or you drive to Grand Rapids. So that turns out to be pretty inconvenient. So that's kind of, and plus the flights are more expensive. Mm-hmm. So if you can get more flights and have them be less costly, I think it might work out better.
Right. And that,
but I'd be glad to give Muskegon business, but it just is, I was almost late to my son's wedding because of that. So.
Right. A lot of it has to do with load factor. You need to fill those planes up, and the load factor is very, very low. I mean, taking COVID away, the load factors are very, very low. And, as you know, it's an essential service airport where it's subsidized. That's another important thing where that contract is expiring in 2022. So, what do we have to do to renew that contract? And B, how can we get ridership up and to get the load factors up, reduce the cost, and potentially attract more airlines? I mean, look at Traverse City just suitored Allegiant Airlines. Now they have a direct flight nonstop to Phoenix. So, that's you got to go out and really market yourself to airlines. You got to be armed with data too. So there needs to be some studies.
All right. We'll have a chance to talk about this under old business at the end. We've still got there's still a lot of work to do before we make a decision on this airport. And there's multiple options on it. So can you two just hang on? I don't know how long this is going to take, but most of this agenda should go fairly quickly.
We'll hang on as long as you need
Sure.
to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. The next item is public comment on an agenda item. Public comment on an agenda item. Now's your chance. There's 38 people on the call. Anybody? Kathy, are you looking at that?
I don't see any hands, Bob.
Okay, I don't see any either. I just scrolled through them. All right, then we'll move on. The budget was the budget report in there?
Yes.
Okay. So that's for information, unless Beth, you want to say anything?
Yes, just to mention that in there, I've included another September 30, 2020 preliminary results. Again, these are still dollar numbers that have not been finalized yet or audited. So the number has come down slightly from last month. Right now, it's showing a positive 333,000 for the general fund for 2020. But again, everything is not finalized yet. Don't have all the journal entries in. We haven't closed out all the funds that receive a general fund appropriation. So that number is not final, and it's still fluid.
Beth, can we just vote on it and make it final?
It's not final till the auditors say it's final.
Oh, darn it. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Next,
Right.
I'm sorry, did somebody want to say something? No? All right, next we'll do items for consideration. The first one is WM 20/12-125 to approve payment of the accounts payable of $15,666,148.03, covering the period of November 20th, 2020 through December 3rd, 2020 for checks and electronic fund transfer payments for the period covering November 1st through November 30th, 2020, as presented by the county clerk.
So moved.
Support.
Okay.
He'll be right.
I've got a motion and support. The large detail items were spelled out. Does anybody got any questions about that? If not, we'll vote. Kathy, roll call, please.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder, Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Javi Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Okay, thank you. The next item is WM 20/12-126 to authorize the release of a request for proposals for temporary staffing services.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion. It's been supported. This motion is from Human Resources. Are there any questions? Kristen's on the call.
What? Yeah, Mr. Chair, may I have?
Yes, you may.
Yes. Thank you. What are these temporary services used for currently? Are these to infill at the health department, or are they for other temporary services around the county?
Kristen, you're muted.
I think they have to help her unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, currently they are certainly being utilized by the health department for the contact tracing and for services that COVID related. But through the year, they're used by various departments. Wastewater uses some temporaries on a seasonal basis. The clerk has the veterans, different departments will use them sometimes when they just need a seasonal worker, or also sometimes in the interim while they're recruiting for a new position and needing to cover those duties before they have a permanent replacement.
So if I may follow up, this is basically a contract with a temp service for countywide to infill temporarily. It's not for any in particular or certain need right now. It just is kind of a countywide contract where we get temps from.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? If not, Kristen, roll call, please. Or Kathy, I'm sorry, roll call.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, thank you. The next item is WM 20/12-127 to waive the purchasing policy and purchase a temporary gable building for the front entrance of the Hall of Justice from Alaska Structures, contingent on grant funding for 100% of the cost.
So move.
Support.
Got a motion and support. I just wanted to mention, if you haven't seen it, there's a line drawing of the temporary structure. And Matt, do you want to are you here? Or Mark, do you want to, is Matt on the call?
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, you want to why do we need this? I already
Yeah,
know.
I think, Commissioner, when we reopen in the future, before we went into the stage we're in now, lines can get long. And so we wanted something to, cover people as they're coming in from the elements, as the lines get longer when we're checking people in. Again, this doesn't, we only want to move forward if the grant pays the entire cost.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one more question about this? So will this structure be taken down in the spring or when the weather turns? I mean, this is a temporary structure, so I'm assuming it's not a permanent installation.
That is correct. The grant requirements, I understand it can only be temporary.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Marcia.
Yeah, it looks like from the drawing, there's only a cover, but there's no protection on the side from the wind. Is there, that seems to me to be the bigger problem, is the wind. But is there a reason why that was not included? Does that make it too enclosed?
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. We have the sheriff's department has to be able to see, what's going on there, what's going on in the parking lot. We have to put this within codes. This can get pretty complicated pretty quick. It's not going to be heated. We went with what we felt we could get done under the terms of the grant and county need.
I think for COVID, we can't have it enclosed. It'd be like inside.
No, that's right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt, the cost of this was, did I remember 20,000, I think?
Yeah, we got a quote for 17 20,000 something, I believe I included that. That is not shipping. It does not include installation. I've asked them to update their quote on this, as well as I've asked other companies to provide a turnkey proposal as well.
Okay, any more? If there are no more questions, yes,
Bob,
yes. Rosie.
what would be the cost of that awning that's going to cover it? It's estimated at 20,000.
Yes.
That was for everything, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
No, if you look in the summary, the estimated cost is $20,000, not including shipping, not including or installation. We're still waiting on these numbers to come in.
Now, after we receive it, it's probably going to cost 20 or 40,000 more to put it together and all of that, right?
That very well could be the case. And again, the motion that you're considering is contingent upon the grant funding for 100% of the cost.
Yeah, we won't do it unless we have a grant that covers the cost.
how soon can we get it?
I do not know. They will not give us a number on that. And these things are in high demand right now.
Chair, this is
Yes.
County Administrator.
Do you guys already have a grant in mind that would cover this?
Yeah.
Matt, did you hear that?
I thought Mark was answering. Yes, we've identified a grant. We're working with someone through the health department on this.
Yeah, the purpose of this is to get it in before the end of the year to meet the health department's COVID grant.
Okay.
So we're moving forward with buying a tent to qualify for the grant, and then labor, we'll get that labor. More importantly is the cost of the tent.
Okay.
All right, Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder, Commissioner Snyder,
John, you're muted.
He's muted.
John, can you hear us?
He's
Commissioner
muted.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Susie, can you hear us? I don't see her there anymore.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Kathy, I got timed out so I vote yes.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Susie, you were in timeout right then?
Yeah, actually, it said your Zoom meeting
have
has
to do
timed out.
anything.
I had to re-log in.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, Kathy, did we get enough votes for that?
I got everybody yes, but Commissioner Snyder, I could not hear him.
John? He did a
He
thumbs
was
up.
muted.
Thank you.
Kristen's trying to help me here get this on it.
We hear you.
Do you have a vote for number 127, Commissioner
We said
Snyder? Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on.
Yes, yes.
The next item is WM 20/12-128.
Write down the number.
Did I
You
mention-
can call in on.
No. To approve the termination of the procurement card services contract with US Bank, allowing for a 90-day transition period and further authorizing waiving the procurement policy to enter into the attached agreement with Bank of America for corporate card services pending corporate counsel review.
So move.
Oh,
Support.
Motion, it's been approved. Beth, this is just for this is This is for the actual credit cards, is that correct?
Yes, and the motion that you actually read sounds like a previous version. Now we've actually split that into two separate motions. So the motion before you is just to terminate the contract with US Bank. Yes, it is for the employee, we call them P cards or procurement card services.
I'm using the original agenda. There was an amended one. So
I'll read it for you, Bob. Move to approve the termination of the procurement card services contract with US Bank, allowing for up to 90-day transition period in accordance with sections 23.2 and 23.3 of the contract.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, what is the reason, I mean, what was the problem with the current US Bank? I don't oppose it, I just wondered why.
Yeah, so we've been working on this transition process since I think it was either July or August. We started the implementation, and we've just run into many challenges with US Bank's system, not only from an accounting department standpoint and getting those transactions into our financial software, but also at the department level. The system is geared more towards individual card holders versus looking at things on a department basis and approving transactions for, looking through and pulling up an entire department's worth of transactions. It's really caused a lot more time. We've lost a lot of productivity at the user department level from using this system compared to what we were using before. It's not a user-friendly system, and it doesn't meet our needs.
And the US Bank system is the statewide one?
It is the system that the state of Michigan went out for proposals for and who they selected through that process.
Okay.
Okay. Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Snyder.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring.
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay. So the next one is, if you could put that up, I just want to make sure that it's the same as the one that I've got. It isn't. Okay. The next item is WM 2012-129. Move to enter into an agreement with Bank of America for corporate card services pending corporate counsel review while staff reviews other procurement options.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Beth, do you want to just sort of simplify this?
Yes, so the previous motion was to terminate the contract with US Bank. Bank of America is the company or the provider that we had prior to US Bank for many years, I think going back to 2011, which was also under a state contract at the time. And that contract expired on October 31st when they switched to US Bank. Since that time, Bank of America has developed a new purchase card agreement program with other people, other entities that were part of that former state contract. And they called it a kind of a consortium, but it extended this new contract to the county, which currently includes 13 other participants, which include this Michigan State University, Western Michigan University, Ferris State University, Livingston County, and the city of Muskegon are all participating in this contract. And since we're already familiar with Bank of America, the system worked well for us. And we didn't actually cancel all of those former credit cards. They've only been suspended. Our account is still considered to be open with them as well because we were waiting for possible any credit transactions to go back against our account. They left it open. So we're recommending to enter into this contract with Bank of America. The user departments are supportive of going back, and it's my recommendation that we do this.
Okay, yes, Marcia.
Yeah, given that there's a 90-day transition period, why are we waiving the procurement process, the normal one?
Actually, the way it's worded is that to allow us to go back to Bank of America to basically just kind of get some normalcy back into our processes, and then we'll review procurement options as far as potentially doing our own RFP process. But the longer we stay with US Bank, we continue to lose productivity. It's taking an excessive amount of time for the accounting department to work with these transactions, and therefore I'm recommending we do this contract while we research other procurement options.
Oh, I see. I thought we were going to go for sure with you with Bank of America. Okay, no problem.
Okay, Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder. I think he's frozen. I'll have to come back to Commissioner Snyder. Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
and I believe Commissioner Snyder is frozen. We have 8 yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Thank you.
he just said yes. Commissioner Snyder has some magic power that every time he does something with a computer on this Zoom business, it freezes. I think he's got special powers. Okay, the next item is WM 20/12-130 to authorize the board chair to sign the letter of interest for community development block grant reimbursement of COVID expenditures, indicating it has agreed not to proceed with the pursuit of these grant funds.
So move.
Support.
All right, we've got a motion that's been supported. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chair,
I have
I'd
one,
like,
a report.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
well, I just like an explanation of it a little bit. Sounds confusing. We're applying for a grant that we're not going to use. Can we explain that a little bit for me?
Yes, so Beth Dick, Director of Finance, we were actually allocated, the county itself was allocated this amount, $433,000. I had brought a motion to the board back in July that the state, through the Michigan Community Development Block Grant Program, indicated that we had to sign a letter of interest to pursue these grant dollars, which I brought to the board back in July or back in August, I believe it was, and you approved it. After that, I spent quite a bit of time discussing on the phone and through email with an individual from the program, and found that there is just a lot of requirements and restrictions that you have to be followed in order to qualify for these dollars. You have to do, the board would have to pass a resolution. There's several public notices that have to happen. You have to have a citizen participation plan in place. And depending on what the money is to be used for, you might even have to go through an environmental review. And all this money has to have been spent by December 31st. I had researched our expenditures that would qualify based on their eligibility requirements and came up with about $23,000 worth of expenses. And I was able to find
that is, but
Somebody-
Commissioner Snyder, could you mute? Yeah, I think he has two going on.
Okay. So
So I actually, Beth, I'm going to revise my question. So really, my question was, I understood that in the write-up, but it seems as if, so we're not really applying for a grant. We're just saying we're not going to use this grant. That's the simple answer I'm hearing from you. Is that correct?
yes, because we had already signed the letter of interest and submitted that, in order to basically not take the money, they're requesting that we send another letter of interest and indicate that we're not proceeding with accepting the grant funds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
okay.
That answers my question too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Did we vote on that? I don't remember.
No, we have not.
Okay, Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder, Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes. Okay, the next item is W120/12-131 to authorize reinstating the unfunded deeds record technician position G31204 with the pay table grade of GU-00160, $15.16 to $18.70 an hour, and reclassify the position to a microfilm records technician with the identical salary grade of GU-00160, $15.16 to $18.70 an hour, to be funded by 80% general fund and 20% deeds automation fund, and also unfund the vacant deeds record coordinator position G31001 and amend the budget accordingly.
So move.
Support.
Okay, is Mark Fairchild, are you there? Mark? Beth, can you explain this just?
Yes. So basically, he has a vacant position that he would like to take that position and change the title of it. Actually it's an unfunded, he has an unfunded position called a deeds record technician. He wants to change the name of that. It has the same pay scale as the current position, but reclassify it into a microfilm records technician, which he feels that, I think, based on the qualifications, would be easier to fill. And then take another position that is vacant, his deeds record coordinator, and leave that unfunded. And it ends up resulting in an overall savings.
I do have a question if I could, Bob.
Yes, Susie, go ahead.
Is Mark on at all?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Susan?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mark. I wondered,
Okay.
I was kind of surprised that you're still using microfilm. I thought we had kind of progressed past that, but you're still using microfilm in the Register of Deeds office?
That is the National Archive standard across America, and it's a requirement here in Michigan.
Wow.
It's every document, even though it's digitized, is also it's applied to microfilm on a daily basis, and it's stored. We actually store our microfilm in temperature controlled facility 80 feet underneath the Grand River in the gypsum mines in Grand Rapids.
Oh, yeah, I know right where that is. I'm just surprised that we actually still do that because, usually you would think now in today's day and age that, you'd be able to store it a lot safer in something else. But if that's the way they do it, that's the way they do it.
Well, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Technology advances every day, and if you don't stay up with the technology and convert it, and then you're going to be in trouble. Where the thought is, with microfilm. If all you would need is daylight and a magnifying glass, and you can read the film, and it lasts for 500 years.
Wow. Thank
So-
you very much. I appreciate that information. Thank you.
Hey, Beth or Mark, how much was the savings? Was it much?
15,000.
15,000. Okay. All right. Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney, did we lose Commissioner Mahoney?
You're muted, Ken.
I do. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder, Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes. Okay. The next item is WM 20/12-132 to approve the signing of the memorandum of understanding between the Sheriff's Office and Health West to implement a model of care for the residents of the Muskegon County Jail.
So move.
Support.
Got a motion and support. Is the sheriff, the undersheriff is on, Ken Sanford is on. Are there any
Both
questions? Okay, any questions for the sheriff?
We need to unmute him, please.
I'm all set.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Hughes. I just still have a question that I'm still uncomfortable with the fact that Health West can do the medical care as well as the emotional care with that in the jail population. I'm just not sure that we can legally do that. So I still have some concerns on that.
So, Mr. Chair, if I have a question, or may I have a question?
Yes, Mr. Lyon.
Thank you. So my question is, it says it's budgeted, but have we estimated the cost whether when we're to utilize Health West versus the current well path services? I'm just wondering, what is the cost comparison?
Are you talking about, Michael Pullen here, Mr. Commissioner Laring, you talking about the transition period? Or?
Well, I'm just wondering, have we done, well, so how long is the transition period if it's?
90 days.
Yeah, we have 90 days as they're filtering through. But as written in the MOU, because our intent is not to increase the budget at all, to actually work under what's there. If you were to look through between the MOU and the past contract, you'll find that the services have been increased quite a bit.
So then the cost is increased also? You mean that, so Health West is going to be providing more services than WellPath? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That is our intent. Yes, sir. Absolutely. We're not paying a corporate company out of Tennessee anymore.
Okay.
All the dollars will be going directly to the healthcare. Yes, sir.
So is that the same price or less than it was before?
The price that's quoted on the MOU is the same price.
Same price. Okay, thank you.
You know, Bob, if we can have Julia weigh in on this, because I think there's a misunderstanding of the model of care that we have and the integration they could do with the new contract that they have as the CCHB. So, and then that's going to bring a lot more savings because some of these things will be covered through Medicare service. But anyway, I would like to have Julia weigh in on that and give a good explanation of that if we could.
Kathy, is Julia up on the call?
I am, but probably it would be best to have Cindy answer any questions. But in general, yeah, we've been providing primary care for a little over 9 years, but I think Cindy could describe to you a bit better than I can. She's in charge of this project.
Okay, Cindy?
Hi, Cindy Blair, Chief Clinical Officer for Health West. We have been providing integrated care with Hackley Community Care at Health West for 9 years. That is primary care, that is including a pharmacy, a dental clinic, So we have quite a lot of experience providing that. We have been working on how would we improve care for jail medical? How would we do it in an integrated manner since 2017? And during this time of trying to work on that, we have increased our corrections within the jail, which will be part of that integrated behavioral health primary care, inclusive of dental and MAT.
Commissioner Skolnick, I have a question, please.
Yes, Susie, yes, Susie. Go ahead.
Can you tell me if the services that healthcare services you provided before were to the general population or just to your Health West clients?
Cindy or Julia, can you answer that?
Are they talking about the mental health services for the inmates in the jail?
No, medical.
Medical. I want to know, did they offer medical services in the community to everyday patients, or were the medical services just provided to Health West clients?
No, they are not provided just to Health West clients. The IHC, which is our integrated health clinic, run with primary care from Hackley Community Care, serves persons that are not open to Health West.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one thing I think, if I remember right, the sheriff and Health West have been working on this for quite some time. You've been working on this for like a year and a half or 2 years. Is that not correct?
Commissioner Skolnick, our first meeting was in the summer of 2017.
So it's been over 3 years that you've been talking about it then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And will this be able to continue even when they become an authority?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner Hughes, if I may, you brought up earlier, you were concerned about the legality.
Yes.
I just want you to, and so everybody understands that this model that we have with working the MOU with Health West is it's consistent with the Department of Corrections administrative rules and our policies also. So
okay, because when I last week I talked to DHHS and they said that they're not supposed to be administering medical services outside of their own Health West clients. So I was very confused about that.
I think what they may have been speaking of is that, Health West is a mental health clinic, and they shouldn't be providing health care services, but their integrated care is with partnerships with the hospitals or, the clinics that are, able to do those things. So that's why they're bringing them in as part of the operation.
So it won't be Health West employees that are doing this?
No, not healthcare.
Okay. Is that true? Is that what you understood, Julia?
Cindy, are you there?
Cindy?
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
Cindy.
Cindy. Julia, you'll have to unmute. We can't hear you.
She might need help. Once you go out, you need help getting back in.
Cindy
Yeah.
Blair, you're unmuted.
No,
There you go.
it is, they are Health West employees, and they will be Health West employees. And Commissioner Hughes, that's not true. And so whoever from DHHS gave you that information, I should follow up because it is misinformation.
Because I do have a recording of that, so I'll be happy to provide that to you.
Yeah, we should get that cleared up because it is not true.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have one more question, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Laring.
So it's my understanding, you're calling this a transition period. Are we sending out RFPs for private providers to provide this service to the county? Or is the transition period to Health West exclusively for Health West?
can you hear me okay, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, it is to Health West specifically.
So we're not sending out other RFPs after this transition period when WellPath is gone?
That's correct.
Did you get prices from other people too? Or other groups?
The last time we went out for RFPs, I believe, was late 17, early 18. But no, our intent is to go with this MOU and work specifically.
But so you don't know if it would be cheaper to go somewhere else?
Well, it wasn't last time when we stayed with the contract that we have.
Okay, and that was in 2017.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Melissa.
Yes, I'd like to add, for those that have some doubts or concerns, that Health West has a very good reputation in the professional community. I happen to have a friend who was the chair of the State School Social Workers Association, and she couldn't speak any more highly of Health West and the services they provide. So I think hopefully that will allay some of your concerns. But I think this is a good contract. It's been a long time in the making, and I think we'll get much better service and for our prisoners.
I have another question. Is there any way to get out of this contract? I don't see any way to get out of this if we are unhappy.
That said 30 day. No.
The MOU does have a term on there that's listed right now through September, but it does have the motion itself, and I didn't hear it, calls for an option to renew annually.
Mr. Chair.
And that will come back to the board.
Okay, Charles.
Could we have Julia or Cindy enlighten us to how this model could help control costs?
Actually, the plan is put together so that the integrated piece of this is providing an increased number of physician hours. It also increases the amount of medical time that is spent through RNs, LPNs, MAs. It also directly affects having a medical assistant at every single booking to start the process of, does a person have a primary care physician? Are they connected for primary care in the community? If they're not, during their stay in the jail, get them connected. So when that person leaves the jail, they have continued care, which definitely directly impacts when their reentry to the jail on a pretty phenomenal level.
But the question was how this helps save money.
For the county.
For the county.
I don't know. I think the sheriff should speak to this. Our goal was not to save money. It was to reduce risk and improve outcomes to the residents of the jail with the same amount of money. I think maybe the sheriff should comment.
If I could just make a comment here before we get sidetracked on this. If you think back and just remember what happened with our old provider, there was a fair amount of discontent with this board because of the quality issues we had. And if the cost does not increase and the quality is much better, I think we'll all be happier. I don't think the intent was necessarily to find the cheapest one, just as long as we didn't spend any more and got a better outcome. That was what I thought.
Well, the reason I brought that up was, number one, because of that. It has cost us excess because of these issues regarding the past care.
That's
and
correct.
also we have to look at the fact that having Health West in, our cost with that other company was going up phenomenally. I mean, it seems like every year. And I think this model, because of the connections and the support and the models that we have, are going to be able to help control costs.
They've been working on this for about 3 years. And the whole idea is to stop, as Charles referred to them, issues. We've had some serious problems with inmate care. And I suspect this is going to be much better. At least I'm positive it'll be better. Julia?
Mr. Chair, I have one follow-up comment to this debate, if I may. So Health West doesn't necessarily have this stellar reputation with me. We have to remember that they've overspent to the tune of $10 million, and we're in a lawsuit with the LRE over this whole thing. So I don't know that it's quite as stellar as what some of my
The
colleagues would like to point it to.
Mr.
Yes, Marcia.
Yeah, the debt is due to the fact that the state has not paid Health West for services rendered. That is why we have a debt. It's not any fault of Health West. I've been on the finance committee. We've watched the finances, and they've done everything possible to keep their expenses in line. It is not their fault.
It's called unfunded mandates.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
This is only for 7 months anyway. I mean, in 7 months, it's going to come back to us to decide if it's worth keeping or not. Correct?
It can't come back to us because they're not searching for another contractor. There's no RFP out there. This pretty much is an end deal.
Well, but the term of the agreement is March 1st through September 30th of this coming year. They're going to have to either renew that one or get somebody else. So it'll have to come back to us.
All right. Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Hughes.
No.
Commissioner Laring.
No.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder. You're muted, Commissioner Snyder.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Foster.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick. 7 yes, 2 no.
Okay, that concludes the items for consideration.
Actually, there's one more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there is one more. I'm sorry. WM 20/12-133 to approve the intergovernmental contract with the Lakeshore Regional Entity for substance abuse treatment and service through December 31st, 2022, and authorize the county administrator to sign.
So moved. Support. However you want to put that down.
Okay, anybody want to talk about this before we vote?
Mr. Chair, obviously I have another question with the LRE, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
So I guess to the administration, are there no other providers? And it seems as if we've already got one battle going on with the LRE that's not resolved yet. I'm wondering, is it wise to get into another extended contract with them if there might be another provider to provide this service?
This is Mark. A very good question. I had the same question myself. This relationship is based off the liquor tax dollars. The liquor tax dollars goes through them. And so each of these counties here, Allegan, Kent, Lake, Mason, ourselves, Oceana, Ottawa, the only way to get this money to our Health West department is to agree to this contract. So it's really a separate, it's not even affiliated with Health West, but it's a separate funnel of money that our public health uses that we need to move forward with this contract with, as well as these other counties. Again, this liquor tax dollars has been going through this for quite some time.
Mark, I think the answer is no. We don't have another option.
Yeah.
LRE is the gatekeeper for this region. The only way that Health West can get any money is through the LRE at this time. The reason why we have the lawsuit is because we don't believe the state has paid the LRE adequately to provide for the services that we provided in the past. And so what we're dealing with that is from the past. Moving forward, things are looking a little better, and we must get the money through the LRE. That's a state design, and we can't go around it.
Thank you.
Does this cover the methadone program?
It covers anything with mental health.
And substance abuse.
And substance abuse.
No, this is for substance.
That's what I
abuse.
mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, anything with substance
No.
abuse has to go through there.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. Kathy, roll call.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Abstain with a conflict of interest.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes. Okay. So I believe that is the last items for consideration. The next item on the agenda is old business. We'll move back to the discussion on the airport. Mark, where do you want us to go on this?
Yeah, this is what we're looking for a little bit more discussion on is the one, if you need more information, two, really the direction in which you'd like for us staff to take this. Either you go with F3 or you go with the current status and Bob moves forward with hiring a airport manager. So we're at the crossroads of which direction we should go. Negotiating a contract will take some time. So if that's kind of the direction, we would bring that contract obviously back to the board for final decision. So I don't really need a vote that would go to full board. What I need is direction so we can negotiate either with an individual or negotiate with F3.
I would like to see you negotiate with F3 and move forward towards signing a contract or bringing one back to us to look at. I think that's going to be our best option to promote anything we can possibly do at the airport. We've tried everything else.
I would agree with Susie on this one.
I would agree also.
I agree. We've done the other route numerous times and we keep getting the same results.
Bob, if you need me to make a motion to have the administrators seek a proposal, I will do that.
Mark, do we need a motion or will you just go ahead and do that?
But I guess it'd be nice, it'd be a general consensus. I hear 4 of you supporting that.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and make that motion then to have the administrator go ahead and seek a proposal for us with F3.
And I will support that.
Okay, we have a motion.
Can I ask a question?
What if I say no?
You're overruled.
Charles, go ahead.
I just wanted to, there's 2 things I still wanted to get some follow-up on. Number one, I didn't feel my question was completely answered. And I'm fine with them taking time to look this up. I know it's kind of on the spot. But I still would like to know their success rate and how they rate that with those departments. And with their other airports. And I also wanted to know, there was a mention about a forego of incentive type arrangements when it comes to the financials. And I'd like to know what that would be, how that would be structured.
Mark, would that, can you answer those when you get back to us?
Yes, I could bring that forward with us. Those gentlemen are still with us. If they want to talk about this, that's up to you, Commissioner. If you want to talk about they did mention foregoing or at least reducing or risking their investment on the success of the airport.
And that's what I just wanted to get the fine-tuned details on those 2 different things. But they don't have to do it today. But as long as we can get that information before we have to decide.
Right.
Perfect.
Is that okay? Mark, can you?
That's good with me.
Write that down and make sure we
Yes,
get answers.
I got both of those points. Commissioner Mahoney, I think you had a question.
Yeah.
Not really a question, just a point. I think our ultimate goal for Muskegon County and the business community is to maintain the airport as an amenity for the county. and a business incentive for folks to stay here. If we can market it so that our business people use the airport, I think it's a great incentive for other businesses to locate in Muskegon County.
And that's a great focus for marketing.
And very well put too.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else? Any other old business?
Oh, did you want a roll call on that motion?
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't do that. Yeah, let's do a roll call. Sorry, Kathy. There was a motion. It was supported.
Thank you. Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
I'm gonna abstain based on more information.
We can't abstain from a vote unless you have a
I'm gonna
conflict of interest.
abstain based on more information.
Commissioner Snyder,
John?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
She's,
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Commissioner Javi Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
8 yes, 1 abstention.
Thank you. We'll get busy on that.
Okay, is there any other old business? I don't see any. Is there any new business? Any new business for Ways and Means? I don't see anybody raising their hand. We now have an opportunity for public comment. There's still 34 people on this call. If you would like to say something,
So let me Skype somebody and see. Hang on a second.
if you'd like to say something, there should be a button on the bottom where you can raise your hand. I'm scrolling through. I don't see anybody.
I don't see any hands.
I don't either.
Okay, final board comments. Anybody? Anybody?
Great job.
Great job.
Great
Okay,
job.
I need a motion to adjourn.
No move.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.